Hey guys, and welcome. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Baker. How you doing this evening, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate.
Yeah,
Good. It's quite relaxing today, isn't it? Like, not
non
a lot
game.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I put a tweet out saying I couldn't really care less about the game that was going on. I didn't care, but I did chuck it on while I was prepping for this. So I was
Yeah.
enjoying all the offsides, enjoyed the penalty shootout, enjoyed the extra point from Kepa. It was beautiful, beautiful,
Good times.
beautiful. But apparently, you're not allowed to celebrate a rival team screwing something up. So whatever.
Never mind, eh?
Never
Never mind,
mind.
eh?
How's your game week going so far? Generally speaking, before we
What
go to optimized, how's your game week going generally? Do you think?
in the epic battle of free hit versus non-free hit?
Dun dun dun. I should have some sort of a sound thing there, but I
We should
won't.
get some like intro music if we're competing on chips, shouldn't we? Just try and make it like it. It's like that though, isn't it? And it's never going to end. I started looking at the fixtures and I was like, I actually even tweeted it. I said about, oh
Yeah.
God, so we've got 28 bench boost versus wildcarders. We've got 29 triple captain versus bench boosters, free hit, no hit, free hit. And then I sort of said, oh, 37, do we get time off? And immediately I got about 5 tweets said, cool, quite fancy free hit and 37. We've had a little look at fixtures, free hit and 37 might not be the worst.
No.
Wildcard might be then as well. So, and
Wild card 37.
people might they take some doubles and see what
Hmm.
happens in 38, but we're not those people. We're hasty, but
I'll
it's
definitely have no
just
chips by then.
it's just so petty, isn't it? Like everyone desperate to say that their strategy is better than somebody else's. It's like, chill out, mate. Like just like there's a reason they have overall ranking. It's so that at the end of 38, you can see how you've done. Like, like just so hindsighty. It's just we're just playing and pressing some buttons, boys. Like,
It is difficult. I mean, if you do have quite a lot of people on the same particular strategy in a same particular game week, then you will get especially the
mm,
free hit, because the free hit feels like a one-off, like it's one versus the other, and I get that. That's fine. I don't mind that. And to be fair, actually, the thing about football that I enjoy is the banter. It's the
yeah,
back and
yeah,
forth
yeah.
that you have. So the free hit chip is kind of a good one for that particular reason. I mean, I'm not on free hit. You're on free hit. I'm sitting here on 56 minus 4, and you're sitting on 53, and I'm loving life.
Yeah,
Like,
but I could go, hey, let me tell you my angle. Because I wildcarded in 26 and had 6 players from Arsenal and Liverpool, actually, this free hit's been a massive success for me because I would have had a load of shit. I think I'd had about 30 points. So core, why don't I hindsight it and say this free hit was worth 53 points and I've still got 3 people to play that I wouldn't have had in my team? Like, we can all spin a narrative if we want to spin a narrative. What we know this week is actually this should be the friend zone. We should all be really happy because the free hitters, they free hitted this week for opportunity. They did, and that was what it pushed for, and the opportunity didn't realize. So hey ho,
I mean, we say the
just
opportunity didn't realise. It basically meant that all that really means is that City didn't batter Everton the way we
yeah.
expected them to.
And Bruno, like the Bruno one is probably the one. That's actually the only
Yeah.
one that was really unlucky. Actually, when you look at it back on it, is that the City one didn't feel like it once the game
Well, not
started.
during the game. No, no, during the game
Within
it
five
felt.
minutes of it, you were like, "This isn't the game I thought it was going to be."
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I joked to you. I said it's almost like managers do some coaching and training during the week, and that
We've had this
teams might
discussion before.
might regroup. And it's like, damn it! I looked at the numbers and it told me this was what was going to happen.
How did,
Like,
oh shit? They must have seen the number as well and did something about it.
yeah.
That's why they get paid the big bucks. But
Like, yeah, we was talking about the old high line teams. Come on, it's the high line team. We're getting it.
no.
Damn it, that low block.
That said, when you go up against Bielsa, you'd get the same thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
really
you
matter.
do. You do. That's a. I find that really real sad story this weekend. Actually, well, obviously, I don't find it sad because we won. We won, but there's so many vibes for us as Spurs fans of the Pop times because Pop is a disciple of Bielsa, and we had that period a little bit later, probably, as in we took some more of the oh God, this isn't the fun time that we enjoyed.
But Bielsa was there for 4 years, wasn't he not?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it had turned sour and it was getting quite toxic, I think. Whereas I still feel that everybody loves Bielsa, the Leeds fans and so forth. And you're never going to replace it. We'll never replace those pop times. I don't think so. As much as I love Conte, that'll be a special time that we'll remember forever. And those guys should just celebrate it. They've had such fun with him. People will talk about, oh, he was too stubborn and all that stuff. Like, he's authentic. That's what he is. That's what we had with Pot. He wanted to play a certain way. It was ride or die. And so in a way, like the fact that he's no longer there, like just celebrate the fun you had with it. We have absolutely no idea what's coming in from it.
No idea.
No. Fun week, really, though. Like, because no one's got a big red arrow. No one's got a huge green arrow. It's all potentially a little bit of still riding on the Burnley game, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a particularly big swing, really, because it's Burnley.
Yeah, and so we didn't speak after the Liverpool Leeds game. That clearly was very painful for me, as anybody watching can see from my rank. It took an absolute pummeling. Thanks to Salah. Yeah. Didn't quite work out how I wanted to. I'll take that one on the chin and say it was probably the wrong decision. And actually, when I looked back at it and I actually calculated what I thought Trent could get versus what I'd hoped Salah would get, there was only like 15k difference between the two if I'd have captained Salah anyway. So yeah. It's one of those things where I do keep learning, but I just keep liking to challenge those learnings and try and go against them anyway.
We're having fun,
for a bit of fun. But it's fine.
We're having fun.
It's fine. So yeah, we've got just next on the screen just something that has obviously come up this week. We're not going to go and talk about what's happening out in Ukraine. Probably best to not talk about it, full stop. But
leave it to those that know,
Yeah.
And,
but it was quite a warming and powerful image seeing Mykolenko and Zinchenko embrace on Saturday evening, and hopefully things get resolved sooner rather than later for anyone concerned. I know people out in the country, particularly in the east, to the east of Kiev as well, so who I've worked with in the past. So yeah, it's hopefully gets resolved soon. But one happier note was seeing the man at the bottom of the picture, Christian Eriksen, come back onto the pitch for his second Premier League debut for Brentford yesterday. And I'm not going to beat about the bush here. I was in tears watching him in June, and it's actually getting back to me a little bit right now. But after watching him for so many years play for Tottenham, and the way he played for Tottenham was just amazing to see him suffer in the summer. It was so great to see him back yesterday, and I hope he smashes it with them, to be honest. And I hope if anything, I hope he keeps him up and helps to keep him up, because he's just a wonderful player.
I was actually really glad that it was like a Saturday game that we weren't watching, so I didn't have to see it. Look at us every week. Yeah. But I was like, I don't think I can take it when he first goes on the pitch. I think it would do me. It's changed everything. I played golf this morning, and as I walked through the golf club, saw the defibrillator sign, and I thought, like, that wasn't there, and obviously it's life changed, from him. But I was so glad that I didn't have to watch a live game with it happening, because I would have been in a bad way by the time it got to the match of the day. I was like, oh, it's okay now. Like,
it was fine on match of the day. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I mean, actually, he made a pass. It was the pass into Tony, I think it was. And I just went, oh, Chris, that's quality. And that's what we want. That's him back to what we want to see. And it's not going to be long before he tucks one in the top corner from 20 yards from a set piece, is it?
Anything we see, mate, it's all fun with him now. It's all good. So that's good news.
It's all good. So that's the good news. And so some bit of controversy at the weekend as well in the Everton City game as well. So
bit of our talk, bit of ref talk.
You love ref talk. So what's on the screen? Of people listening, what I'm going to talk about is the PGMOL image of what is handball and what is not handball. So there's quite a clear image of
Sleeve line.
It's a sleeve line, basically. So anything above the sleeve is fine. Anything below the sleeve is handball. I think Lampard was absolutely spot on with like every single comment that he made yesterday. He's going to get fined for it. He doesn't care. He shouldn't have to care, and he shouldn't really get fined for it. But you know, I mean, what a ridiculous decision. I mean, how could I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't fathom it. I really couldn't.
When it happened, you were like, well, that's a pen. And then it was like, once it went more than 30 seconds, you're like, oh God. The only reason this could be 30 seconds is that they're trying to find a way for them not to give this. Oh gosh.
You got three camera angles on VAR as well that they showed us. It was like, how many do you need to see? I mean, and annoyingly, I think there was a frame on Match of the Day, which I didn't capture last night myself, but I think there was a frame from behind the goal on Match of the Day, which I didn't actually use, which I think may have been even more conclusive.
It's ridiculous. And the stills as well don't do it justice. It's the fact that actually, you know, when you actually watch the video, he moves his arm to it.
He moves his arm to it. The ball spins. We see that. We see the ball bounce off the ground. And it spins in a different direction to the way he expects it to. His arm comes out because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your chest there. That's what you do as a footballer. When you realise it spins, you try and get your chest there. He didn't get his chest there.
However, you bugged it up. However, you found a technicality. I
have. So on the image, we can see on the screen. So there's one very important thing to just to note. So firstly, this is his left arm. Okay, so you can see on the left, it's in red. Okay, so his left arm is handball. However, if you look very carefully on the right-hand side, there's no other red on the image. So that says to me that, you know, all of that green side, you can see the hand. In fact, I can't get a cursor on it, but you can see the hand is coloured in green. You see that? Yeah, we're on that. So the thing is it hits Rodri's right arm.
No handball.
So by the PGMOL image, that right arm is green. It says no handball. It hits Rodri's right arm. No handball.
Case closed, mate.
Correct decision.
Case closed. Fucking joke, mate. Like, it's such stupid. Do you know what my highlight of the weekend with the VAR? It's a bit like you remember when we did our little BPS pod? We always love the fact that everyone likes to call it the BPS system, despite the fact that bonus point system. Like, it is.
The S in BPS stands for system. So yeah,
I love it when VAR that people don't look at. Do they do something similar? They don't. They call
the VAR referee or something.
Well, they call it. They say, "Oh, it's not the VAR; it's the people operating it." A bit like the VAR is some kind of strange robot pressing buttons, and somebody's sitting there with like a little. I get this sort of image of a remote control, and someone's like, "Oh, he's pressing the wrong button again and not giving it." Like it's they're just not. It's just the VAR is the person. You know, that's their job. Video
assistant referee. Yeah.
Right. That the point is they're just not very good. They're just not very good. Like the referee's not very good. Paul Tierney's not very good. He looks for reasons to cause controversy all the time. You know, and he looks for reasons not to give blatant penalties. Gives 1 in 3 from appeals. Tries to find ways to cause trouble. Chris Kavanagh's no better. Just really irritating referees. Chris Kavanagh, I think's reffing Burnley Leicester Tuesday night, so see what fun he can bring then. He loves giving penalties to the home team, does Chris Kavanagh.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that I've not captained Weghorst.
I don't even know if he'll captain. I don't know if he'll take him.
He should do. He took him for Wolfsburg. Yeah. He took him for Wolfsburg. I'd assume he would take them. So, right. Let's fly through our teams. See how well we said sort of how we're getting on, but just as a view from FPL Optimized comparatively, basically says what we expect. To be honest. So here I am on no free hit. I am currently a couple of points ahead, thanks to my double City defence that I have, Laporte and Cancelo, picking up bonus points each as well, which is very nice. Although KDB captain didn't work as well as... I mean, you said it quite right. I mean, the game didn't pan out as I'd hoped it would so early on. Everton were organised and they were very good, particularly in that first half. KDB came came into it a little bit more in the second half, but still wasn't.
Not big though, did he?
No.
We spoke at half time and we kind of expected that he would start just taking responsibility and doing it like he did in that Southampton game where he just pushed everything.
Yeah,
but he didn't
quite happen. No.
Nah.
And then got the nice cheeky little Dawson clean sheet today, which was good.
Mate.
So
he's sneakily done so well, Dawson.
Yeah, just a bit annoyed I had him on the bench last week, but had to do it last week. So yeah, I'm doing all right. So I expect to just drop below the average, which means I should end up with a tiny, tiny little red arrow.
Mate, in a massive free hit week.
That's exactly. It is a beauty. I mean, I'm sitting at the top 200k, so there are some rubbish managers up here, like myself. So who knows? But I could use a Weghorst blank and a Brownhill goal. That'd be beautiful. And definitely don't want. I tell you what, I'll finish above the average if Burnley don't clean.
Yeah,
almost certainly. Because
Leicester score, mate.
And Leicester score. So I'm quite happy with how I feel about where I am at the moment. So that's me. And you?
It looks a bit meh, but actually, when you look at the baseline, like as soon as you free hit, this is actually goodness. You never go behind. You start in front of where everyone else should be, and no matter how bad it goes, you're in front. And then you get to the end, and I've got 3 Burnley in the last game. It's very difficult, unless Tarko got a hat trick and no Weghorst returns at all, and Pope makes no saves, and they don't keep it clean. It's probably the only combination of stuff that makes it bad. But even then, I don't think it's that bad. So it'll be fine. It's realistically free hitting away. Just guaranteed green arrow, thanks.
Yeah, take it and move on.
What a disaster. I feel so bad. It's been such a failure. Like, just move on.
Yeah. Right, so what we're going to talk about then? We're going to talk about fixtures coming up. As always,
fixtures coming up.
The thing is, the fixtures seem to be the hot topic every week, and I can see why. Obviously, there's a lot being condensed into particularly this sort of 4 or 5 week period, more than anything. We sat here in 22 going, where the hell are they going to fit all the games in? And then suddenly they've gone, well, here you go, 26, 28, 29, have your fun. Yep. And here we are, smack bang in the middle of it. So,
we should timestamp this. We are 9 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, 28th today?
Yeah. And the big news
27th.
is that unless Luton beat Chelsea, then Chelsea play Norwich in 28. So we've now got double for Chelsea. So the potential one that we thought we might get Arsenal-Chelsea is not happening. I wonder if somehow the madness happens. Is there still a way that Arsenal one happened? No, it's not happening.
No, I don't think so.
Just Chelsea playing Norwich.
Chelsea playing Burnley and Norwich basically is is what's happening. So,
but then we've got FA Cup games across Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's another one next Monday, but it's not Premier League team, so that's not really a bother. That could impact 30. So we got the 30 graphic. Can we?
We've got the 30 graphic.
Call that up for the YouTube, and then we'll.
Yes, sir. I can bring that graphic up. There we go. The game week 30 probability.
So this is Mr. Krellin's. So the only way that City play in 30 is if City lose to Peterborough. So move on. Liverpool Norwich.
It's an interesting one because they've just played today. I don't imagine Klopp's going to send them all down the pub to have a little celebration.
It changes everything, though, and that's the only thing I'd say is that, if that somehow happened, it does change everything. So that's your first sort of warning to say, "Oh, maybe I'll keep my powder dry and I won't do very much until then," because suddenly, if that game dropped in Liverpool versus Man United, nobody's free hitting in 30.
Yeah.
Then Everton have got Boreham Wood. Is it Boreham Wood? I think it's Boreham Wood.
They do have Boreham Wood. Yep.
So Everton and Watford are blanking.
Definitely.
The Tottenham West Ham game could still happen. Tottenham could lose to Middlesbrough. They've already beaten 2 Premier League teams.
Southampton are good.
Southampton are good. Really good.
Really good.
And
that worries me a little bit.
yeah. So that could blank. Or it could, no, that could happen. Sorry, that could still happen, Tottenham West Ham.
Yeah.
As could the vice versa. If West Ham do beat Southampton, then we do get Southampton v Burnley.
Yes.
And again, that brings, a lot of people have got, we'll look at bringing Southampton players in this for 28 and then playing 30. So that's good. I'm not sure. We'll look at the fixture, but I'm not sure you want them probably past 30, and that might be the issue with them. And I think Burnley is a similar one where it might just be that we're hanging on to those players for then. Chelsea, Norwich, yeah. So Norwich have to. If Norwich beat Chelsea,
no, Norwich beat Liverpool.
Norwich beat Liverpool,
and then if Luton beat Chelsea,
yeah. So no, sorry, Liverpool beat Norwich. You mean Liverpool beat Norwich?
Oh, sorry, Liverpool beat Norwich. Sorry,
which probably does happen, but it comes back to this: Chelsea need to lose to Luton, which isn't happening. If Stoke beat Palace, though, we get Newcastle and Palace in that,
which would be a nice little double single
single for Newcastle,
which is
really cheap, easy assets to get to.
Mm-hmm.
That might change stuff.
There's certainly a lot to go to. I think, yeah, as you said at this earlier, just a minute ago. I mean, don't do anything until Wednesday. I mean, I moved Salah out last week for 27 because I wasn't on a free hit and I wanted De Bruyne in. Now I almost certainly will bring Salah straight back in.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to move anything until after the game against Norwich, right? Because if he gets injured against Norwich, I have no reason to bring him back in at all.
Yeah.
And then I can start.
He's just a monster, so it won't happen. But
yeah,
but there's no reason to do it. I think the only thing you do need to look at in your team is whether you really fancy the wild card.
I thought you were talking to me then for a second.
For 28, not for you, because you've spent it and I've spent it, so it's done. But I think there's a lot of people where they look at their team and just think it's just got a load of stuff in it that I don't like. And I guess then that starts coming into this: do you wild card? What do you do? So that game week 30, I think you've just got two choices. You either ride it through it, as we've seen this week. It can easily happen. And I think the fixtures in 30 are considerably worse than the fixtures in 27. And those didn't pan out.
Agreed with that.
So therefore, a free hit is actually even harder to predict in 30. So I think if there's a way that you can get 8 or 9 players in...
It is, but you still feel... You said it a minute ago. If you're on a free hit, you get a green arrow. So...
Yeah, I think so.
And, as you said, it's opportunity, putting yourself in there for... Yep. You're more likely going to get positive variance from the good players within that game week versus the bad ones or not having all of the good ones. So,
and you don't have the players that you don't want afterwards.
Exactly.
So it's the ripple effect.
And there's still going to be players... Exactly. And you probably don't have some of those players already.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why... No, sorry, that's exactly why the guys wildcarded in 26, because they didn't have to. You didn't have to touch Burnley, right? You didn't have to touch Burnley as an example. For 27, you knew, bang, there's a double. Oh, I can get my 3 Burnley in and take the potential upside from it. And then once 27's gone, I don't have to think about Burnley again because they're actually a shit team. So, yeah, there's definitely positives there.
The interesting quandary is just probably this 28, type thing of. Wolves have got 2 really good fixtures, and you could easily just pick up a cheapo Wolves defender. Southampton, good fixture in 28, good fixture in 29, potentially playing 30. So that starts to push me more down. If I hadn't, I'd have pushed me down more the wild card and don't free hit in 30. So I just think there's just a lot that's out there that will push you over the next few days that you'll know more. But you probably won't know more till Thursday night because games are over 3 days. And then we'll get the draw as well. So you can start to work through, well, what do we think is going to happen in the next round?
Yeah.
That starts to make things happen in 33 and the ripple effect that happens after that. So, yeah, wild card in 28. hey, I can very much see a lot of people doing it. I can see a lot of people doing it. I think a lot of people will do it.
I mean, where else would you wildcard then in reality? You're looking maybe getting through 30 and then wildcarding in 31. I mean, the fixtures really for the teams from 28 to say 33 versus 31 to 36. Because I'm looking mainly at call it a 5-game week lifespan, because you can basically change half your starting 11 in that time through free transfers. So
and decay, just things happen.
Exactly. So there's that. So, in game week 28, which teams are you going to be targeting on a sort of a 5-weeker? So 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. I mean, you're really going to be, and you almost have to go beyond that by 1 week if you want to say that you're going to free hit in 30. So,
well, Chelsea are the obvious.
Chelsea are definitely the obvious, but
they don't help you for 30. So I almost feel like you just kind of want to take a gamble on it, but you're like, it's just so slightly the wrong time. Like Reece James is slightly the wrong time. Mason Mount is slightly the wrong time. We might get, a bit more news with an extra week in and a bit more signs that say they're not there. Lukaku's definitely the wrong time. But Kai Havertz versus Lukaku, it's like which one that actually is going to play all the time. Because we've seen Chelsea recently play good teams. And so Aspie's playing really well. I feel like when I'm watching play, but Norwich gave Reece James so much space. They gave Liverpool so much space on Friday night that I was looking at that thinking that could be a 20-pointer for Reece James. But we haven't seen it from Reece James back yet, and we don't know that his body can take it. We don't know that he doesn't play the first game because he might play the FA Cup, for example, then miss out on the weekend. Well, then he is back for night. It's so difficult to know how it's going to play out. And you're going to be taking out if you can take a good, if you're on wild card, you just do it, don't you? So it's not a deal. If you're taking out good players for Chelsea, that feels really tough to me right now.
I mean, the big one is City, right? Because I mean, where are you finding those funds from? Because if you're taking, so everyone's got Cancelo and Trent. That's kind of like a lock, right? And where else have people got funds? They've either got like a Laporte or a Digne. They're the two main ones, right? There's not too much out there around that price point. Maybe a Robertson or Van Dijk, actually, in truth, as well. So there might be Robertsons and Van Dijks out there. So they're the kind of 3 players that you'd be looking to move on to a Reece James or a whoever.
It just
like those fixtures for Liverpool. I mean, but do you think that Reece James is going to outperform Robertson, like West Ham, Brighton, Arsenal double? Then Watford, right? So until 32, is it really worth it? And Van Dijk's obviously the same. If you look at Villa, they've got a double. Then fine, it's Arsenal, Wolves, Tottenham, but the Arsenal and Tottenham games are at home, so why the hell not? City, are you going to go away from City? I mean, City, they don't double, fine, but they're the best team. They're the best team. They just are. They have a VAR as well, and they have Chris Cavan VAR. In there. So I mean,
it's a toughie.
Does it feel worth it? And that's why, when I was discussing it with people before, Thiago Silva feels like an easier way in because he's cheaper and he's got benefits as well to set pieces as well as bonus.
It's a monster on the bonus.
But if we look at Ben Crellin's sheet, which I can't fit onto this page, but Ben, if you go and look at Ben's sheet with all the fixture gaps where all the European games are, and you just look at all the games that Chelsea have to play and where they can play their remaining fixtures. I mean, they've just got a lot of games, and it's like
it just screams rotation. It screams it because,
especially for the 36-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And what do you even like second legs? Like, let's just say they're not winning a second leg. Like they don't win a first leg of a European game. Well, then in the second leg of the quarter-final, that's in between Southampton away and Leeds away for Chelsea. So you're like, oh, Reece James could easily get a rest there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got similar in the semi-final where it's sandwiched between the Everton game and the Wolves game, 35-36. Like, that's the problem. Even if Chelsea have got a free midweek at the moment, it's going to need to be filled with other games because they're going to need to fit the Arsenal game and the Leicester game in. So I think they'll definitely get a game in 33, but it's FA Cup semi-finals. So FA Cup semi-finals, if they get through to it, which, hey, they just need to beat whoever they get in the quarter-final because they've got Luton.
Yeah.
Then that becomes maybe a single. And then it's double in 36, 37. Maybe even a treble. I don't know.
They haven't got enough fixtures for a treble, I don't think. Because they've only got
they're
2 to rearrange. Or they're going to get one more, aren't they? No, they're not. Because they're pulling the Norwich one forward.
Yeah, that's right. So the Leeds game could basically go to the midweek, couldn't it? If they didn't get through the semi-final, and then Leicester and Arsenal could go to 36, 37.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense.
So then you start to ask yourself, well, maybe I just want them at the end. You know, it's really difficult of knowing when you want to get on them. But you could just do it now, and then it's done. You know, because I think most of us have got reasonable sized benches that I think maybe you could just do it. Just get Reece James in because you want him. You're going to definitely want him at some point in the season. You're almost just saying, well, I'll just put it in now and everything I get's a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like if you're not taking advantage of that game week 28, that double in 28, then you've probably missed the trick as well. I feel like it's really, I'd feel really difficult. I mean,
how do you ignore it?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, we all turned around and said, everyone in the world said, you've got a triple captain Salah against Norwich and Leeds because they're the worst teams. Like Burnley and Norwich, that's basically like the second best game week pairing you can get. Fine, they're both away from home, but they're two teams at the bottom of the table. The interesting thing is just going to be how they're going to fight now, these teams. I mean, I think Norwich are down, but
Chelsea aren't scoring.
No.
But, like I say, they have been playing harder teams, you might say, in that sense.
No,
and
definitely.
They've got teams, but they've now got a load of teams, Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle, Brentford. You could say that their next 3 game weeks are all against teams that they should beat and beat comfortably. And they'll be in big trouble if they don't, because there's teams on their heels.
Yeah.
But they are fighting for their lives, those teams. They will waste a lot of time.
All of them
They will be really irritating, and they'll just be looking for a point against Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Palace almost got it when they tried to, just tried to hold them firm. These aren't as good as Palace, these teams. Newcastle could argue at the moment, I suppose. It's a big call for everyone. But on wildcard, I just think I'd have to go for it. Would you double up? Would you go a Rudiger and a Silva and a James?
Personally, I wouldn't. I just think that's too much, and it just doesn't sit right with me. I had triple Chelsea earlier on in the season, and that might be a bias that's just coming into my decision making. It wasn't very fun having triple Chelsea. Double Chelsea feels a little bit nicer than triple, but even when to be fair, I had Mendy in goal post my first wild card, right? So I had James and I had Rudiger earlier on in the season. I had to get rid of Rudiger to get Trent in because I was an idiot that went without Trent. But having James and having James through that period of his 0-0-0-1-0 whatever he was doing when Ziyech came back into the team, and then having Mendy behind him when what's his name? When Vidra scored for Burnley. I mean, it's just they just conceded stupid goals.
And I think we've all forgot that. It's like that absence makes your heart grow fonder, is that
They just haven't played in the league, so everyone's just gone, Chelsea.
Yeah.
They've been playing in good competitions. That must mean they're a good team. Good defence.
Yeah, I think people think that about Rudiger. I think people remember that he was just banging shots in for fun. He was basically playing as the number 9. He's averaged, I think it's something like 37 points in his last 12 games, and that includes 2 clean sheets in the last 2. Like, he's averaging 3 points a game for 6 million midfielder, for 6 million defender. They're not showing it, but they've got better games. And so it's a real punt. I think you could do it. And I think if you wildcard, you have to, but I don't know.
Is there anyone attacking-wise that you want to get involved in there? I mean, is it just too much uncertainty of who's going to play, whether they're going to go up with a Havertz or...
I think I'd go Mount.
You would?
But you look at it and you say to yourself, okay, set my midfield now. If I could have a midfield in wildcard, what would I want? I'd probably want Salah and Son. I'd probably want to try and find a way that does that. You could get a Diaz, you could have a Jota, you could have a bit of fun with someone like that. Coutinho's got a double, plays in 30. Saka's playing out of his skin, has got really good fixtures. Yep.
Rafinha might have a new manager bounce as well coming through.
Rafinha's got a new manager bounce, and he was so unlucky against us on the weekend.
He was.
JWP, I love him.
Good fixtures.
Good fixtures, plays in 30. And we're all going to want Maddison very, very, as soon as those, probably from 33, if not before. But, as soon as they drop themselves out of that conference, Ren Winter, at some point we're going to have Maddison in our team. There's no getting away from it. It's difficult. I mean, you could even go Sarr at Watford if you wanted him. Again, I thought it was pretty good a little bit, but
probably couldn't bring myself to do that.
Nah,
I've done it before though. I've done it before.
Let alone the cheapies. Alanga, I thought was excellent on the weekend.
Ramsey,
a cheap one.
Ramsey, a lot further forward at the weekend.
Yeah, further forward than Coutinho.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we haven't mentioned Bowen either.
We haven't even mentioned Bowen. It's like it doesn't exist now. Poor man. He was so good to us. And
just for the record, we didn't mention a single City midfielder.
And we've not mentioned a single City midfielder there.
Right, there's like 4 unbelievable options there as well. And there's just so many. There's just so many. I mean,
it's a tough gig.
I think
wildcard.
I think having the choice, I would definitely get Son in. And I mean, there's probably quite considerable Tottenham bias in there. Oh my God, Kulu. Oh my God. I mean, just that second goal, his first goal.
I might go Kulu in 29. I'm not ruling it out.
Christ, it's hard, man.
It's a really hard wild card. And I sometimes think when it's a really hard wild card, then you could suggest it's a really big opportunity.
You've got to play fixtures then. You've got to play the fixtures in front.
Put it together, work it out. It's the same old deal.
It's got to be the doubles. You've got to target the doubles.
It's Kane up top, and who'd you put with him?
Yeah.
You could go a 4-5-1.
I'm definitely not. Yeah, I don't think you need to spend more than. You definitely don't need to spend more than 11 million on your front line.
Alan St. Maximin might be back.
What's he, 6'9"? Is he cheaper than that? I don't even know.
Could do him.
Roger's
obviously got a double in 28.
And again, good fixtures.
Short-term good fixtures, but it turns.
They do.
You ain't going to play. You can't play against Chelsea in 32.
True.
And then Arsenal at home.
They've got Arsenal and Liverpool. They've got Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea in their run-in. Everything else is fine, I think.
It is, but
everything else is fine, and they're playing well. So I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, what are they in their last 6 games? Like 4 wins or something stupid like that? I don't know. I can't even.
They're playing well,
I'm absolutely making that up, but it's something like that.
He's coming off in 75 minutes as well, so I still think you would have him because he's cheap. He's cheap, but you could do a big 4-5-1. Could he do a 5?
I think he went 5. I think he went to 5-5. I mean, they're unbeaten in 6 in all comps. And In fact, they've only lost one game since the middle of December. So
where we're at it. So we're basically saying
buy everyone,
buy everybody, but maybe don't wildcard at the same time.
I don't know. I don't know. It just makes me think. What this makes me think is it just takes me back to the wire every week where LR says, we don't like to be the pod that sits on the fence. So they make a decision. And I feel like we are sitting right on that fence right now.
Well, I think you look at you. I guess what I would say is,
you're not going to do the team dependent cop out, surely.
Not the team dependent cop out, but it's good fun in it at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at your team and not thinking it's good fun, that's an issue.
I've got Brownhill.
You got any more wild cards?
I've got to get him out somehow.
You got to get him out
somehow. I can.
He's cheap, mate. You can play another.
I got him in for the doubles, mate, which is why I didn't put him in my starting 11 in 26 when he scored 17 points.
Well.
Anyway,
you benched him. Yeah.
I benched him in the double. Yeah. Dick.
I think there is that. I don't think these next 2 weeks you want to go in with a bad team. So I think you should be either you take your hits and play yourself through it, and then try and come out the other side. But I think you're probably looking at sort of 34-ish onwards from then to look at, making a really late hit. It looks like 36 and 37 look fun for doubles. I'm thinking because of the Champions League that 31, 32, 34, 35, basically the fact that they did the Chelsea-Norwich game is because Chelsea-Arsenal is a lot more fun. And they think it'll take some of the views off the Champions League. So that almost tells you you're going to get crappy games, which can be all right from an FPL perspective, because like Chelsea-Norwich is, if you've got Chelsea players, is a better game than Chelsea-Arsenal. You're not
going to get Arsenal-Chelsea or Arsenal-Tottenham on a Champions League night.
Nah. It almost nails in that probably like Arsenal-Tottenham probably ends up 33 midweek.
Everton Burnley feels like a 31 or 32 double.
Oh yeah, just chuck those.
Chuck them in.
Look at it. We sound like we know anything about fixtures. We know absolutely nothing. I can't blame people if they do, because I think you're going to get a load of FOMO over the next few weeks. But we've seen in 26 that people that are aggressive on hits done really well. So do that if you need to.
That was a very specific game week, I think.
We had a question about bench boost in 28, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it's just with triple Arsenal against Watford.
So I've got that. I've got triple Arsenal at the moment against Watford, and I've got So my bench boost, which I'm semi-planning to do at the moment, as in I'm probably 90-10 going to, is at the moment my bench is Ramsdale, Van Dijk, Gabriel and Saka. Love Saka, love Ramsdale, love Van Dijk. Could move Van Dijk to James. So that's one you could do. But it's like oh my God, then he's got Brighton, Arsenal and Watford. Not 100% sure I want to do that. So the other option is I could take out Gabriel. And I like 29 Arsenal, the better attacking game and even the 31. I like the attack probably better than the defence, I think.
I think that's fair.
So I could do something like downgrade my Arsenal defender, downgrade to a cheaper one, and then maybe do Jimenez to Lacazette. That's on my mind, I think, at the moment. So maybe I'll take one of my Arsenal out and then bring a different one in.
It's difficult talking about Arsenal when they haven't played this week, isn't it?
It is difficult.
I was surprised that Martinelli started ahead of Smith Rowe in the game before.
Yeah.
It did surprise me.
Clearly looks like that's the first team.
Yeah.
So I might do that. And if I did, I'd probably look at a Newcastle player.
Newcastle, you say?
Newcastle. Have you done any work on Newcastle?
Or might have something on Newcastle. So, just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. So
they're so cheap.
They are a bargain basement. Sam Maximan 6.9, the most expensive of the lot.
He feels quite expensive still, doesn't he?
That feels really expensive. I mean, again, though, that's what we're getting from the forwards this year, is you just think that anybody above 6 million is expensive because you're not getting any value out of them. But I think looking at that from a long-term perspective is, you're less likely to get the value. I think if you're targeting short-term fixtures, I don't think it matters so much. I mean, I've highlighted...
Did you hear Fraser talk about Eddie Howe on Match of the Day?
I heard him talk about how he's changed absolutely everything. He loves him.
He loves him, doesn't he?
It's like, oh, he's come in and done everything. It's not the fact that I spent like 2 years with him down in Bournemouth as well. I just want to...
loves him. He is lovable, though, Eddie Howe.
And fine, he's obviously the players are responding. They're playing well at the moment. I think anything from Saturday's game, I mean, take it with a pinch of salt. You're talking about one of the worst teams in the league right now, with 10 men. So the fact that it wasn't more than 2-0, I thought was probably a little bit disappointing. But they're missing players as well, right? They haven't got what's his face plays right back. I can't remember his name. Trippier, that's it. He played for Tottenham and I forgot his name. Haven't got Trippier. Haven't got Wilson, and haven't got Saint-Maximin. So, it's tough. Fraser looked good. He looked lively. Fabian Schär, like in years gone, he scored twice in a game once. I'm sure he did.
He's got an unbelievable. He did score, but his whole career is getting on a bit now. But it's, stats is. I remember. The only reason I remember it was like some Euro fantasy thing or something like that. And I saw some, you see little blurbs of players you don't realise, and it says, got a good eye for a goal. And I always just sort of remember that was it. But I checked it earlier, and he's got 48 attacking returns in 320 games. Like an attacking return every 6.5 games for his career. He has fun.
It's quite good.
And I had a bit look about how does he play at Newcastle, and because I saw the fact that he had like 2 key passes and 2 big chance created, and I thought, God, that feels big, and they're like 20% expected goal involvement, and I was like, it's quite big that. And basically, he's just banging long balls.
Yeah,
he's banging about 15 long balls a game, just smacking them over the top, and hoping for the best. And they've got lots of little quick runners. And so Maximin comes back and you got another one. But that's basically all he keeps doing. So
he's also a threat from set pieces as well.
Yeah,
he's really a threat from set pieces as well. So
I like 4.3, so cheap.
Yeah. I mean, I know that TT last week on a bunch of spaces was saying that Dan Burn was probably his preferable option at that value. But you feel like it would just be a 2.6. Yeah. And he said really he wasn't the best header of the ball either, which is stupid because he's 7'12" or whatever. Which is 8 foot for anyone that.
Yeah.
So but Schär has some decent threat about him, and
the thing about
bonus as well.
Joe Linton, I think is playing really well at the moment. But one of the things I noticed about him, he's really powerful when he's running out through midfield. And then you go, yeah, but he's classified as a forward, and it's like we're literally buying someone out of position because he's good at running through the centre of the pitch. And you're like,
reverse OOP never does anything for me, really.
No,
I mean, unless it's a striker that's literally back. I mean, that's Kane basically. Kane's probably the only one that's playing reverse OOP and picks up a little bit of extra baseline and then gets his 24 points for a goal.
But Willock ain't banging it 70 yards onto somebody's foot,
I mean, like Højbjerg played a backwards pass to Kane for that Son goal. That's something that I noticed. Anyway, so
Willock. Well, Willock.
I mean, if he's going to get onto that streak again, right? It's just
he is streaky.
He's got 4 games, and he's going to play them all, isn't he? Right, he's young. He doesn't need rest. He's going to play them all. They need him.
Yeah,
they do need him. Fraser looked lively, like really, really lively.
Can they play Fraser, Willock, and Saint-Maximin though? Like,
I think you nullify Fraser if Saint-Maximin's there, though. If you go down that left-hand side and Saint-Maximin's there, Fraser doesn't become an option in my mind because Saint-Maximin will want to pick the ball up, halfway into the opponent's half, and he'll drive. He's not looking for an overlap from Fraser. He's not interested in that. He's looking for a cut inside, take a couple on, and if necessary, he'll go across the pitch. He'll very unlikely look wide. And then I guess the ball, but then I guess at the same time they were looking for Trippier often in that position where the cross would come into Wood, Wilson, Joe Linton, whoever should be there. I thought Wood was unlucky not to score. He did have Ryan made a good save against him, good header. But
you're not buying him though. Even you not buying him. You haven't even highlighted him. I can't believe you've not highlighted Chris Wood. What have you become? So Willock or Fraser? Are you going there, do you think?
I don't know, because I'd have to take a hit to get one in. I might do it. If I did, it would be Willock. Yeah.
If
just the goal threat. Just more goal threat.
If they get both games. So if they get the 30 game as well. So if Stoke beat Palace and suddenly they got the game in 30,
they'll definitely be in.
Would you be tempted to go more than one and think, fuck it, double, single, and bid them a game with 33 health?
I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, I have to bring Salah in. That's like a non-negotiable. So, I'm already taking a hit to bring a Newcastle player. Do I take a -8 to get 2 Newcastle in? It's got like Watford and Burnley vibes all over it, isn't it? Really.
If you want free hit, would you have Willock at 5.7 playing double? And let's say they get the single. So let's say they get the game in game week 30.
Well, if you're on free hit though.
Oh no, sorry. Oh. So if you're not on a free hit on 30, would you have Willock playing double game in game week 30, or would you have Saka playing Watford double, that includes Liverpool, and then a definite game in game week 30?
But we'll know if Newcastle play in 30 by the time I have to make it.
So let's just assume they do play in 30. Let's assume they do play in 30.
Okay. I'd probably go Willock.
Would you?
Yeah, I probably would. I just think I don't think Saka's getting much from that. I think it basically comes out as Watford, who aren't terrible at the moment. They do concede a lot of chances. That's true.
I'd still go Saka over Willock. So I think the fixtures, I think Saka could be someone that we just sit with for the rest of the season.
I've completely forgotten what the fixtures would be for Newcastle. What the fixtures are for the. So Brighton, Southampton,
they got Tottenham
Chelsea,
at 31, so then it all falls apart.
Yeah. No, so they've got Chelsea in that second double, haven't they? So yeah, basically you're just banking on them you're banking on Brighton, Southampton in the first game versus Watford. If you're going to make that decision, I'd probably go back to Saka.
That's one of the reasons why I like the defence, is that I just feel like you can just play them and then just say, stuff that. I'm leaving them right on the end of my bench.
Well, share 4.3 million. I mean, you can just stay there, can't he?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know whether the fixtures get any better beyond.
No, they don't. Nah.
No.
We've got Tottenham, then they're home to Wolves, home to Leicester, away to Norwich, but then Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Burnley.
Yeah, that's a point. Yeah, no, I did know their fixtures were terrible. I remember telling guys on Spaces that if they wanted to survive, they needed their points now. And to be fair to them, they are starting to pick them up. So yeah, they need to accumulate now. I mean, they need 6 points probably from the next 4 games. I would say 6, maybe 7, to give them a good chance, because.
Dubravka's an obvious one on wildcard. I did it on 26, and I just think you still do it. But you say it, as much as it is an obvious one, like Ramsdale could outscore him against Watford. he could outscore him. And then you've got that decision in 29 about Dubravka versus Ramsdale.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're almost certainly just going to want Ramsdale. Very, very tough to see any of the games after 31 where you just don't look at it and say, I love Ramsdale, thanks. Yeah. Unless there's a double one. I think the only thing I'd be tempted to do is not have Ramsdale at all. And I would probably go Dubravka and Schmeichel if I was wildcarding.
Because they've got so many to play.
And then you're just like, I'm going to get a double. Then I've got Schmeichel, who definitely plays in 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just work it out, basically.
Brentford
Brentford and 30.
The fixtures are on the screen, but I'm still trying to work it out in my mind of forgetting the fixtures are there right in front of me.
But you'd have to try and work it through. It looks like they've basically got a good fixture on the same week, which isn't that useful. Like, so I think every week you
haven't done the rotating thing.
Nah. But
right.
it feels like that's almost like a goodish move. But
so
Ramsdale's so good.
Let's quick fire a few other questions. Let's quick fire these, and we can move on to the game week 27 games because we've almost hit an hour already.
We love it.
We do love it. So
we've talked about a lot of the games though. Like,
well, we have
got left.
So we've talked about the FA Cup permutations. That's good. When will we find out about game week 30 fixtures? That is going to be on basically Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday's the latest. And who are the best assets? We've covered all of that. Strategy for the final 10 game weeks. For me, fucking struggle. Just hit my way through it probably.
Just look at the next two.
Any ideas on captains for 28? Everyone?
Oh, mate, this is the challenge. This is
quick fire, mate.
Do you think it's going? I think it'd be interesting to see how the herd moves, because the herd has moved so quickly, isn't it? On literally every week, where suddenly everyone's that way.
Well, we thought. I mean, were we talking about Weghorst potentially being? Well, in the week I was talking in spaces about Weghorst, and people were saying like 110, 120,
160,
and then someone in the space went, well, yeah, but he's only like 7% owned in the game, and I was like, yeah, but that's 700,000 managers. That could be 100. That could be 100, 200% in top 10k. So it does move fast.
I think Salah, Coutinho, Rafinha, and James are big. Jimenez, I think, would have dropped because of that game today, and we're not sure. We don't know now.
Do you think? Do you think he's not more nailed for the next two after they've lost 2 home games?
But it's not like he's been smashing it, is it?
No, I suppose. And with Neto back,
he made this weird comment about the fact that basically he can't head the ball anymore. He's basically just said, look, he used to head the ball and it went where he wanted it to go, and now sometimes it goes somewhere else.
Clearly doesn't have a feel for it, or just lost the feeling in it.
And then you're like, oh.
And I'm sure he's being told like not to head the ball as well in training. He won't be heading the ball in training, will he?
So you're like, oh,
wouldn't be an over and over thing.
There could be certain games here. So he played a tall team in West Ham, big tall team, and thought, I'll put Fabio Silva in there.
Yeah, true.
So maybe we might have tactical changes. I don't know. But
XDH, expected defense height for.
Yeah, it's just it immediately screams at me of, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I want it gone, but obviously I'm going to have him for this week, but I want him out.
Yeah.
Raf is just such a mad bag, but it was so good against us. I don't hate the Raf one. I genuinely don't. It feels the fun pick. We got the other side. James Ward-Prowse.
As Villa and Newcastle.
Average baseline of 20 for the last 8 games. Like, watched that Southampton game the other night. I thought it was quite interesting just watching the way they play. So we'll talk about that as we talk about these ones. They play 4-2-2-2 in that way of forward. And it's quite oppressive in that I found Norwich didn't really know how to get out. But what it also is quite convoluted in that the 4 quickly encroach on the 2, and then the 2, Romeo and Ward-Prowse are good players, and they were immediately on the next set of 2 players, and then that next set of 2 players is immediately on the forwards, and the forwards end up quite often getting pushed wide, and what happens is the defence sort of cope with it, and then they end up just giving a corner away because everyone's around and something blocked happens and they get a corner. So Ward-Prowse is just accumulating numbers because of a weird convoluted system where he just ends up crossing the ball relentlessly. It was just unbelievable, man. And even because the convolutedness, even the open play crosses that he had, I mean, his technique from open play crosses is so beautiful. But you're like, can I have a player that never gets in the box and never as my captain? Oh, it's so awkward to say that you do want it. I love it as a player. I think it'll tick, and if he gets a penalty, you think he'll do it. And even when he got that 25-yard free kick, you just thought he's going to put this in.
Yeah.
It was almost a surprise he didn't. And I'm like, cool, and a double.
It's going to get some.
Any goal he scores worth 8 points, isn't it? Because of his baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So
Very true.
It's on there, but it feels so limited. James, I mean, Rudiger's the defensive version of Ward-Prowse as a captain option, isn't it? Is that, he'll play both, but he's also just... Ugh.
Yeah. Kane?
Kane in a single, Salah in a single.
Options.
There are options. The thing is actually what you notice in the double, like the old Weghorst, is that as soon as they blank, it's like, it's just an extra 2 points.
Yeah,
Suddenly it's like
it is
him versus him, but with 2 points. And you're like, well, I'd rather have him, thanks, because Salah's much, much better.
But that happens when you put captains on bad players. Not bad players, well, either bad players or players in bad teams. That can happen.
Look, yeah. And that's why I do lean a bit more to the Rafinha or Coutinho of the world, in that they're fun. But Coutinho is basically playing the Ward-Prowse game for Villa. He's not playing the one of a front three in Barcelona or the one of a front three in a really attacking Liverpool team with Suarez. He is effectively playing that Ward-Prowse role. Like, his only shot on the weekend on target was a free kick, very good free kick. But other than that, it is very similar, honestly. Just sounds a lot more fancier than James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jimenez, Coutinho, Ward-Prowse.
I like Kane for my team as it stands at the moment. My doublers aren't fantastic. I have to get Salah back in. Do I prefer Kane versus Everton or Salah against West Ham? I probably just about prefer Kane, personally. But yeah, there's extra. This feels like there's more avenues to points, or there's.
I think it's going to be a real late Saturday call. I think it's going to be a real late Saturday call.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Of where everyone goes,
and I think there's going to be a mix as well, which would be good. Which would be good for the game week.
The thing about the RAF one is that you get the first game of the game week against Leicester, and then you get the last game of the game week against Villa.
Oh, right. So you get the best and worst of every superstition possible.
Every single superstition is crossed with that one, where it could be. But I quite like that one.
Yeah, RAF's interesting. Okay. Last one, very quickly. Spurs fullbacks.
Oh, mate. Something bad happened. I feel bad about this one. I had a message from Alan from FML FPL. I mean, they are proper mavericks. Everyone's got the free hit template. Alan messaged me and said, which wing backs do you think are going to play against Leeds? And I went, mate, you can't, like, I got no idea. You can't go there. Like, it's ridiculous. And he went, oh, okay. And then obviously, like, literally 2 minutes into a game, he literally was like, if you'd have said Doc, I probably would have gone there.
Oh, no.
Mate, but 4.7, it was just a bit much. But
I wouldn't. Yeah. Did you predict them to both? Did you predict them both to start?
Nah, I thought we would just go unchanged by the Bentancur one. So I think what we see is, I think the real telling thing is that Emerson came on before Reguilon did, and they just moved Doc to left wing back. So I think there's potentially double good news with Doc, really, because the fact that he trusted him to go over to left wing back, maybe out of nowhere, Matt's his first choice. Wow, like, but he could have scored a second.
No one would have seen that coming. Yeah, he could have had a second one. Yeah, he could have done. And
I think Kulu makes it much easier, because we knew that the biggest thing about Doherty was that he comes inside. He's a wing back that doesn't stay wide. And you're like, oh, we've signed another lad who can play right wing back or play inside and go inside and out. And you're like, well, maybe there's a tandem there that works. Whereas Royale is just outside, really. That's all you've got. And it's
true.
So maybe he's a cheap option. Maybe you take it on wildcard because the 29 bit of fun. Fabian Schär, Matt Doherty. Bin those Wolves boys off. Forget they've got 2 home games. I mean, it's more fun, isn't it?
It is more fun. You're going to make me do something stupid like that.
You're thinking about Matt, aren't you?
Yeah. Thinking about Doc. Potentially. So, right. We are short of time, but games. So
we've talked about the Southampton one. We've mentioned them.
We've barely mentioned the Spurs game, believe it or not.
Kane and Son, like, everyone knows how we feel about them. Kulu, genuine option.
Yeah, there was a little tweet from was it Nathan tweeted from the Extra Inch podcast. He tweeted a little stat thing where someone was like, "What were like Decky's touch map like in his first 5 games?" And this sexy little stat map that was just like, yeah, he's good. Like, really
he's not
good.
Only good, but he takes orders really well. Like, I noticed it in the Burnley game was that Son was splitting all over the place, and it wasn't any good for pressing where, and creating pressure on a team. Kulu just actually pushes and takes direction really quickly. He's a much more mature player in a way. I
have to say, we didn't think he was very quick, but he actually runs a lot. Like, I'm trying to say,
he reminds me so much of KDB in the way that he's much more quicker and powerful. He just reminds me of a young KDB so much the way I watch him play. He's just lovely.
Well, he's going to come good in about 5 years' time when we don't own him.
He's just lovely. I had a thing with the missus on the weekend in that she said in the afternoon, she's like, have you been humming ABBA or something? And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you've been humming ABBA? And I'm like, no, not me. No. I clearly had been walking around.
Give me a ginger from Sweden.
I'll let you do it.
No, I don't know the rest of it.
That's all we need. That's literally all I was saying. Give me a ginger from Sweden. I literally must have been muttering it under my breath all afternoon. She was like, why am I singing ABBA?
Brilliant. I love it.
Incredible.
I love it.
Talked about Newcastle.
Yeah.
Villa. Brighton bad now?
I don't know. And he played Ings alongside Watkins as well, Gerard, and he said that he wanted to give them both a run together. But I sent a message out to Craig and just asked him about what he thought about that. And he thought Bailey was going to come in potentially, and they were going to start with a Watkins, Bailey, Coutinho. But Coutinho, as you say, has not really been playing that front line. He's been playing much deeper. So, yeah.
On wildcard, I'd probably go Watkins over Jimenez this week.
Yeah.
I think I would. Yeah, feels more fun.
Palace, Burnley.
Their goals got done on the old offside. I thought that Schlupp goal was offside. It looks offside to me. I don't really understand it.
It looked offside, yeah.
It just looks offside.
Eliso's really good though.
Oh, how good is Elise? Like, he's proper good.
20-year-old just cruising. He's just cruising around the pitch.
Yeah, there's us, on about Kulu, but Elise is such a talent.
Some good players coming into the Premier League at the moment.
Oh, monster.
United Watford? I mean, I watched the first half.
The thing is, because I'd seen bits of it and knew what was coming, it then made it much more funny that they got last match of the day.
Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah.
Because you were like, they're playing it out like this is a terrible 0-0 game where they absolutely battered them.
Yeah.
I mean, how Bruno's not got a 20-point in that game, and how Ronaldo, all of the like FPL review and stuff had Ronaldo in the team for free hits, what you should have had. Yeah. Ronaldo and Bruno just should have had.
5 minutes, I messaged you, I was like, Ronaldo them. Goal, offside.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Everton City, we talked about it.
Yeah, it was just, we said it wasn't quite the game we wanted to see. I thought Everton were decent in the first half in particular. They took a lot of pressure in the second half. I think, DCL out for another 10 days, whatever that, I feel
like Richie's playing quite well. And I feel
He
like
had
the
a lot of
more
work to do, though.
midfielders,
He had a lot of work to do, and he worked hard.
I thought the midfield with extra people in it is a better position for them. Yeah. They need points. You know, Van der Beek work I thought really hard. You know, is what more can you do? But I thought as a team they certainly worked a lot better than they have been working.
They're unlucky not to get a point, as we all know. So
yeah, Decore is a good return.
Yeah, I think Decore was probably to be honest, Decore was probably the player on the team sheet, and I saw that and went, I wasn't expecting that today. I thought Decore was still out, and I was like, shit, that makes... Immediately, before the game started, I was like, that makes my De Bruyne pick not as good, because he's going to be in that area, and he's not the player I want in that area.
It's just numbers, though, isn't it? They need more numbers.
Alan worked hard as well.
At the back, but they needed... Yeah, Alan's got, like, old man legs. Like, he's not a big fit. Michael Keane was just knackered on that goal. He was just like, oh my God, I've literally had to concentrate for so long. But then you look at their bench and you think, well, they signed like Patson, the young lad from Rangers. They've got Mykolenko, who's not very good. Branthwaite, they should have just brought him on and just stuck him in there. Should have just, once it got like 10, 15 minutes to go, Lampard should have just gone, I'm just going to stick someone in there and be done.
Yeah.
West Ham Wolves, neither of us watched it.
No.
So we won't talk about it other than what I have seen. Antonio looked like he played very, very well, and I think Bowen missed a pretty decent chance. So, and Wolves
yeah, which doesn't help. Those
Wolves, I get so many Brighton vibes from Wolves, don't you? That last season, every week.
We said that earlier in the season. We said that exactly earlier in the season. We said that, but I don't think they create as much as Brighton used to.
No. They're
not as creative as Brighton were. So they're like a dull version of last year's Brighton, which doesn't sound very appealing at all.
Yeah, good. I've got double defence. Great. And
I don't mind. I don't mind something. I wouldn't mind like a Saiss punt. I mean, I still don't mind a Saiss punt on captaincy next week. To be fair, I don't mind that. Binary FC, I think. Yeah,
not Binary FC, mate.
Cool.
We're done.
So
it was a quick run through, but
it was a real quick run through. But we've run over time a little bit, and I'm going to be knackered tomorrow morning getting to work.
Let's do it.
So, anything else?
Well, there's a lot to happen this week.
Should we plug the pod, seeing as we haven't done that?
Yeah, why not? It's probably gone by now, but do it.
Fair enough. Remember to follow us on Twitter, guys, at Above Average FPL for the podcast, at Baker FPL 343 for Baker. Podcast available on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts from. We're also obviously now on YouTube. That is youtube.com/Above Average FPL. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe if you like what we're doing. Apparently, like 70% of our viewers are not subscribed. So just hit the subscribe button. It's easy. Just get it done. Drop us a comment and let us know how you got on this game week. If you're listening to the podcast on audio, drop us a message on Twitter and just interact with either one of us. Follow us, do whatever.
That's mad, actually, isn't it? 70% of our guys don't subscribe us. I think that is probably one where we're doing. I mean, we're over the moon with how we're doing, but we have more subscribers. We have less subscribers, considerably less subscribers, not even half the subscribers compared to our views each week. So that's good. We want it to be that way, but it'd be nice if we had a few more. Yeah,
agreed. And to let everybody know, the podcast is supported by a friend of ours. That is at CryptoBlockDan. The man is in the crypto space. So if you want to know anything about cryptocurrencies and the technology behind it, some of the use cases, then drop him a follow on Twitter. That is at CryptoBlockDan. So thank you, Dan, for your support.
Well, on Tuesday.
One game left in the game week. FA Cups to come.
Fun week.
Leave it at that. Speak to you later, mate.
Yeah. See you later, mate.
Cheers.